even though thousands of people are resolving wonderful health issues, horrible health issues on the carnivore diet, we're all inundated with this. Is the carnivore diet healthy long term? Well, whether you're a new carnivore, you're on the fence about trying it, or you're like me and just want to know why, and give yourself some information and to make a rational, logical decision. Today, I'm going to give you 6 of my top influences, the people that are technically not carnivores, but all except for one have influenced me into making a decision, to realizing that not only can we not trust science, but we have to. It comes down to faith, diligence, research, and finding your way. And these 6 people, the sixth will be the kicker at the end, and it might be a little shocking. So stick around to the end. Let me know if you have any carnivore influences or non-carnivore influences that have affected you and your decision to go carnivore. This is Anthony Stewart. This is Food for Thought, and we are questioning everything they've ever said. And today we're questioning, is carnivore long term? And we're going to jump right into it. Number 1, when this guy talks, I listen. His work during the pandemic was paramount. And actually, all of his counter arguments were based on rational, scientific data, and just he was like a security blanket for me and led me to question things and, find my own way about handling the pandemic. But before that, he was in a low carb space, and, his philosophy on meat, fish, and eggs should be the cornerstone of, like, the foundation of any diet, eliminating processed food. And it is not only number 1 on the list, Ivor Cummins. If you've never heard him speak, wow, you need to check this guy out. So, when you're questioning things, if you ever want to know some sound, logical thinking, Ivor Cummins is the way to go. He's an amazing man that was basically against everything they were saying to us, and he turned out to be absolutely 100% correct in everything. He's an engineer turned into nutrition guru, and his podcast or his YouTube channel, The Fat Emperor, is amazing. Check him out. Especially with the times coming, you're gonna want to hear what he has to say. And I put my faith in Ivor all the time. That's number 1. Number 2, Nina Teicholz. If you've never heard of her, well, we all in the carnivore space have we've obviously, most of us have felt some miraculous turnarounds in health. Well, Nina is an investigative journalist that was writing an article on trans fat, and when she dug into it, turned the nutrition industry, or the food industry, all of it, upside down. Started asking questions that she couldn't find answers for, so kept digging. Anyway, her research basically showed how flawed nutritional science. There was Gary Taubes as well, but Nina she's head of the Nutrition Coalition. She's trying to reverse the food pyramid. She's trying to, expose the corruption in how our food guidelines are prepared. Her book, The Big Fat Surprise, is an excellent read for anybody that's wondering why the carnivore thing works and how fat is, and she's amazing. So I would check her out. That's number 2. Number 3, Dr. Ben Bikman. When we're dealing with obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, anything to do with insulin, this is the guy. He's from Brigham Young University. His research is basically all about insulin. His book, Why We Get Sick, is a necessary read for any type 2 diabetic. His research, the cool thing is he's not a carnivore, but when you're looking at these people that I'm mentioning, they're not against it. And when you take the pieces of what they do and put it all together, you'll find that the carnivore way makes a lot of sense. So it's a little bit of a security blanket. And if you're curious about blood sugar, if you want to know how your body works, how insulin is tied to almost every single disease, and it might be all the same disease, just a different, shows everybody differently. So his book, Why We Get Sick, and metabolic disease and dysfunction on insulin is amazing. And you can take what he says and you learn a lot about it in very easy English. Why We Get Sick. I'm going to post all the links below for the books. Number 4, Dr. Robert Lustig. He has been on the forefront of research into sugar, turned into pretty much against processed foods. And his latest book, Metabolical, it's a pretty tough read. A lot of different facets of the nutrition space, big food, big pharma, doctors, the medical industry, FDA. If you want some clarity in why these foods are problematic, read this book, Metabolical. It's amazing. He's got lectures all over the internet. He's not a carnivore. He's actually said to everybody, he's nutritionally dietary agnostic. He doesn't believe in one certain thing for anybody. But his research on fructose and the damaging effects of fructose on the liver, especially in kids, he's a pediatric endocrinologist, is amazing. So you can relate that to what we're doing here in the carnivore diet. Number 5. Number 5. Number 5. Number 5. For anybody who's maybe tried the carnivore diet, or you're on your last wits about nutrition, nothing you eat can work. All your symptoms get worse, or some problematic stuff that's not resolving. This doctor, who is the creator of the GAPS protocol, is worth paying attention to. Her name is Dr. NATASHA McBride, and her whole persona is like your grandmother that wants to give you a hug. Her relationship to diet and what needs to be done to fix you can't, there's nobody else like her. She relates everything to love and how our food system has been devoid of this. And, although not a carnivore, a very big proponent in the circle of life and why things work the way they do, what plants are, what meat is, how important meat and fat is. And for anybody that's tried a carnivore diet and hasn't had had some problems, or couldn't resolve some things, check out the GAPS protocol. I will tell you, I should have, instead of going to nutrition school, which I should have gone and taken the GAP, which I still might do, is do her course and become GAPS protocol certified to teach it, because it is amazing. And her work with kids, autism, ADHD is second to none. Check her out, Dr. NATASHA McBride. Now, the 6th person. I'm going to just show you a picture. Are you kidding me? You're going to take nutritional advice from this guy? He is the same age as Dr. Anthony Chafee, a couple years younger than me. And if you want to look at the epitome of health personified, that ain't him. Come on, give your head a shake. Don't put anything in a blender and grind it up like he says. Choose your own adventure. And I think when you throw it all the cards on the table, listening to this guy is probably, in my humble opinion, the worst thing you can do. So those are them. 6 strong. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if there's any influences that you have that aren't carnivores that have led you down the carnivore path. Stay strong.